Okay, Brenna. So I first of all sincerely apologize for the extended delay. I'd mentioned there might be a little delay, but I didn't expect one this bad. It was definitely a client problem, but all's good. So here's one thing I wanted to give you back after seeing your sketches. Good work, by the way. I hope you're continuing to draw. But we're going to talk about how to approach drawing a little differently. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this video along with a picture of what I'm drawing, and you can see my approach to it, and hopefully it'll help you because it's a standard approach that other artists have used for a long time. So the first thing I'm going to point out to you is that the most important thing about drawing is your eyes. It's about what you see with your eyes as much as anything else. And what I mean by that is because your brain will kind of make up what you think you see, but you have to train your eyes as an artist to really see and not let your brain take over too quickly. So let me show you what I mean. By looking at this pose, what I first want to do is I need to look at the overall structure of what's going on. And what I mean by that is, okay, so let's say that the head is probably, I'm using my little blue pencil, light blue pencil right now. I think I sent those along to you because, okay, the head's up here and the feet's down here. And I need to kind of look at the line of action, like what's happening to the spine going through the character, right? And I also need to look at how far the top of the head is to the midriff, to the pelvis area. Okay, because typically that's about, the pelvis is about halfway between the top of the head and the bottom of the head. So what I'm looking at is, okay, it looks like the character is leaning back, right? And I've got a leg coming down here and going back. And then I've got another leg kind of coming out here and going here. Little light sketches are great just to kind of get the basic forms going. I've got a shoulder that's got an arm coming out here like this, okay? And, I don't know why that went black. And I've got another arm that's coming, kind of going like this, okay? So it's kind of like, now, there's a term called negative space. And what that means is basically you need to train your eye to look at the space inside the shapes you're doing, not just the shapes themselves. So what I'm looking at right now is this space right in here where here's the chest, okay, and here's the torso. And the space between the chest and the forearm here is something I need to use my eye and look at very carefully so that I get the right proportion down. And that's really what it's all about, is getting your proportions down. And you can see you can slowly add onto the drawing as you go. And again, the idea is to train your eye to look at things. In fact, a rule of thumb, Brenna, is you should be looking at something about 6 times longer than when you're drawing it. That's so that your brain is trained to follow what your eyes see, not what it thinks it sees. Okay? And you can see I'm not too worried about getting things accurate. I'm really, this is the stage where you're training your eye. Okay? And it doesn't hurt to put the center of the center line where the head is. And now what you can do is you can start, is now you look at it and say, well, okay, I think I've got it pretty darn close. It may not be perfectly accurate. And you can go back and do some erasing. That's fine too. But, so we can do some of that if we like. It doesn't hurt to get my blue color back. Sorry, I meant to get that color. Oh, that's even darker. That's interesting. Let's stay with the light blue. Okay, so now let's say I like what I've got, and now I can kind of go into my pencil, not my black pencil instead of my. And again, I'm looking at the pelvic area, and I'm looking at the shapes, the distance between the thighs. not just the thighs themselves. And now I can start putting in a little more information. And again, at this early stage in your drawing, it's okay to do sketchy stuff. It doesn't have to be beautifully drawn stuff. That really can kind of come later, because you need to get the whole process going of training that brain to look at things and look at the shapes relative to the other shapes around it. Okay. So again, I'm drawing loosely on top of my blue lines. Now, in animation, what happens is this drawing would then be put on a light box so that you could put another sheet of paper on top and do your cleanup lines onto it. Okay. Now, I'm drawing this on a tablet, so it's I don't have as much control as I do on pencil and paper, but you get the idea, right? And again, we've been looking at the line of action, what's going on with the character, and the proportions, the distances, not only of the actual limbs, but the spaces between them. So this is the kind of sketching that you should do over and over again. Light blue down below, and then get in on top of it. And of course, you can even get heavier with it. You know, it doesn't hurt to leave these. Let's see. You can do something like this, and go back in. You know, and put your heavy lines in. If you've drawn lightly enough, these lines will work just fine. So you get the idea. And this is fine. It's okay for you to be searching, but as you're drawing, make sure you are, again, looking at the image 6 times more than drawing. As you look at something you're going to draw, look at the space around it. How far is that arm from the bottom of the hips, right? Now, not everybody's going to be perfect. You know, again, I'm doing this on my tablet, and it's a little, the top is moving on me a bit, so I've got an excuse. But you get the idea, right? And the idea is to capture the gesture of the pose as much as anything else. And more importantly, that you get the proportions. Now, generally speaking, the last thing I'll make a note of, generally speaking, a character from top to bottom is about 8 heads high. So whatever size the head is, if you kind of do lines, that didn't work out. Let me erase that and start over here. That was, sorry, excuse me about that. So generally, let's say you draw a character's head, okay? 4 heads down is basically the bottom of the pelvic area. And then 4 more heads is your typical bottom of the feet. And if you do that, you will basically be pretty good, and the hands usually fall. The thumbs usually end up about where the pelvic area is, and you can see so again, about 8 heads tall. That's where cartooning comes in. We draw characters that are sometimes only two heads high. So they have a big, and they've got a little bitty body. So in animation, we look at this, and we talk about things in terms of 1 and 2 heads high. So this is what I want you to work on. I want you to do some more sketches. Use your mannequin that I sent you. Try this blue underlay drawings first. Put your black pencil on top. Don't need to clean them up. I'll know if you capture the gesture well or not. So hope that helps. Love you a lot. Look forward to staying in touch, and I'll be better about it. Okay. So thanks again. Talk to you later. let me save this.